Hello, I am going to show you some books from Better World Books, and they were just ones that I saw. They were having a sale, I can't remember, from the bargain books, and these were just ones that I saw and I thought they sounded interesting, and that's the only reason why I got them. This first one is by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's the Silmarillion. I don't know how you say it, but the only reason why I bought it is because I have the whole series of The Lord of the Rings, and I wanted this, and I can't remember exactly what this is other than it's the story of the creation of the world, and I'm thinking it's supposed to have to do with the Lord of the Rings, if I remember correctly, of hearing what people were saying. I can't remember. It's been so long. I've been out of this world for a while. This is The Game of Kings by Dorothy Dunnett, and I just remember that this had to do with Scotland. I don't really remember much about it. There's a crooked person. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's just, what caught my attention was that it was Scotland. It said in 1547, Scotland has been humiliated by an English invasion. So I just wanted to get it because of Scotland. My ancestors are Cherokee and Scottish, so it sounded interesting. Another one that I wanted to read because I've never ever read this story is Sacagawea by Anna Lee Waldo, and I immediately, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm getting that no matter what, and it came looking like this, and this thing's over 1,300 pages long, and I've never in my life read a book that long, so hopefully I can get through it. But I usually love anything about Native Americans because, I mean, that's my ancestry, so I can't wait to read that. The next is The Lifeboat by Charlotte Rogan, and this woman, during the summer of 1914, the Elegant Ocean Liner is carrying Grace and her husband, and it suffers a mysterious explosion. All I know is her husband gives his seat to her, to Grace, in the lifeboat. And the occupants are, there's just too many occupants of the lifeboat. And I think that they have to figure out who they're going to take off of the lifeboat and their castaways. And I don't know, I thought it sounded really good. I'm hoping it is. The next is The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. And I'm not really sure exactly what this is about because it very confused me. It was something about sending a group of people to this newly discovered planet to contact like an unknown species, and I guess they choose 4 different people who are completely... Oh no, they choose more than 4 people. They choose like a bunch of different people, like 4 Jesuit priests, a young astronomer, a physician, her engineer husband, and a child prostitute turned computer expert. They sent all these people, a strange array of people, to the planet. I don't know, it sounded interesting, so that was the reason why I got it. I hope it's not incredibly weird. I hope it's good, but it could be just bad. This is The Gods of Gotham by Lindsay Fay, and this is in 1845, and it has to do with the Irish gangs in New York City, which that just fascinates me. So that's why I got it. All I know is there's bunches of bodies buried, and this guy from the police department has to figure out what's going on. And like I said, it has to do with the Irish gangs in New York City. The next is The Time in Between by Maria Duenas. I don't know if that's how you say that, but this is about a 12-year-old girl who I think she cleans with her mother, and her mother's also a seamstress, and by her early 20s she is learning the ropes of the business, and she's engaged to a government clerk, but then everything changes because of the Spanish Civil War in Madrid. So I'm not really sure what all's happening. I know there's Nazi officers' wives involved. I don't know, I just thought it sounded interesting. I like that time period, and the fact that it had to do with the Spanish Civil War, I don't know if I've ever read anything about the Spanish Civil War, so I thought it would be interesting. A Dangerous Fortune by Ken Follett. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I've always eyed his books, but I have never read them. And this one sounded interesting to me because it's in 1866 and a tragedy occurs at this boys, I think it's an all-boys school, but I could be wrong. A young student apparently drowns, and it involves a small circle of boys. And I know that apparently this spans like decades. It like happens, and then I think we like read about decades even afterwards and what is going on. And it must be very interesting because it has something to do with like exclusive men's clubs and brothels and like the dark desire of London's upper classes. So that sounded good. That sounded good to me. The next is Fall of Giants by Ken Follett. I don't know. And this is book 1 of the Century trilogy. I think this is one of the ones that I have had my eye on for a while. And it's about a 13-year-old Welsh boy entering a man's world in the mining pits. And an American law student and a housekeeper and a German spy and 2 orphaned Russian brothers. And so I think it's just like one of these things that follows multiple views. I don't know that for sure, but I think so. Yes, there's 5 families, and it's in a century. And I don't know, I just thought that sounded interesting. I kind of like books that have multiple views going on. I mean, 5 different families has definitely got to have some different voices happening. And I'm not sure how you say this one. Sarum or Sarum, I don't know. The Novel of England by Edward Rutherford. I honestly think that this has to do with like the history of England. Yes, and it has 5 families in it as well. And their fates and fortunes intertwine over the course of centuries, and I think it's just kind of even the history of England and what was happening. And I thought that sounded very interesting. And I love these books that I get that have stuff in them. Like this one had a plane ticket and a Taxi Dallas. That's what it says, Taxi Dallas. Airport passenger pickup. I don't know. I love getting books that have history from the previous readers. So anyway, that is what I got from Better World Books. And I want to show you just a few more things that I got from Amazon. Only because there's just a few. The first is, I don't know how you say this guy's name. China Mayville, I don't know. And it's Kraken. I have a few of his books, and I haven't read any of them. But when I saw this one, I really wanted it because it's about Kraken. And it is literally about that. I guess there is one in London or something. I'm not really sure. But it says there's competing cults, cops, criminals, wizards, assassins. They're locked in a war with unimaginable consequences. Heck yes, I had to have this, and it is used. I usually buy a lot of used whenever I can. And the next one, I'm not so sure about. I could have myself in a whole lot of trouble. But it fascinates me. The whole concept fascinates me, but I may not be able to read it because I've heard some of it's pretty yucky. It's The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr. It just fascinates me that there is a girl who has locked herself away because she is scared she's going to kill somebody. But I do know that she is pretty much a sex girl. One of the ones that shows herself on the internet. So, I just don't know. I'm not really sure what to think about this, but I just wanted to give it a try because I find it interesting that she locked herself away. This is Sea of Crises by Marty Steer. And to me, this is very interesting because this is the story of, in September 1976, when all communication with the crew of Apollo 18 is lost during their first moonwalk. And the last words that they hear from the astronauts are, "This shouldn't be here." And so, I don't know. I have to read it. I have to read it. I just thought it sounded really, really cool. And this is the first book in a series that I talked about in my book outlet haul that I had to have because I got the second book in that haul. And it's White Heat by M.J. McGrath. And this has to do with a woman in the Arctic leading 2 tourists on a hunting expedition. One's shot and killed. So once again, it's another mystery. But I wanted this one because I got the second one in my book outlet haul. And that was the one about all the wintry stuff. So anyway, that's it. And I guess I will see you guys later.